This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
Nowadays, people are younger and have more spiritual and existential questions. There was a need in Shehnaaz's life for comprehensive spiritual and sensible information, yet that was difficult to find. Her work is about the moral and spiritual dilemmas in modern society that we're facing with integration of religions, cultures, and spirituality. Among other themes, she writes about the difference between religion and spirituality, the difference between spirituality and practical spirituality, and the difference between exercising practical spirituality and its effect on your being. Valeria Teles interviews Shehnaaz, the author of Touch Beyond Religious Madness. Shehnaaz grew up in the Netherlands, West Europe. As she grew up, she was always interested in holistic treatments and spirituality. First, Shehnaaz found that the connection between the mental and emotional aspect of a human being is important. And later, she found that the actual connection between the physical and the mental aspect of a human being actually matters, and mostly, the mental aspect influences the physical symptoms. Some psychological symptoms can influence the physical health, and some physical conditions can also influence the way we think if we want to recover from a trauma. So, Shehnaaz felt that a holistic way of looking at mental and emotional trauma or difficulties fits better with her idea of healing, health, and recovery. She wanted to combine more therapies together so she could apply holistic treatments for different life issues. As she grew older, her interest broadened in the direction of spirituality and relationships. She gained more knowledge about healthy sexuality, spiritual practices, and healthy lifestyle. The real need to create the art that she makes is because she feels that there is this double standard around expression. Shehnaaz feels that in the religion she grew up in, as a woman, she didn't get to express her true feelings. Also, the way she was raised, she wasn't even allowed to show a picture. So, the whole feeling of being stuck became quite stressful, and people didn't seem to understand how her life was being closed. The closed-up culture and religion made Shehnaaz want to break through the box because she felt it wasn't fair anymore. She felt that much needed to change according to the idea of love, relationships, and single life. Shehnaaz is a holistic counselor, body worker, and esthetician because she had her own experiences in life, and she felt it is important to have a place to feel soothed and relaxed, and to work on your own physical health and care. Meet Shehnaaz at illuminavida.ca. Here's the interview with Shehnaaz.
In your own words, who am I speaking with today?
Hi, you're speaking with Shehnaaz. I'm the author of the book Touch Beyond Religious Madness. I wrote this book several years ago during my period of spiritual development. And I wrote this book also because I wanted to explain different theories instead of how regular theories that are existing now are explaining different life theories.
What is life to you?
So life to me is a bit difficult to explain because it has multiple facets, but I would say that it's a combination of contemplation and hard work and a lot of different directions that can lead to more happiness. But happiness is not always guaranteed, I feel. I've seen during the writing of my book that I stumbled upon the theory of the road towards unconditional love. It's actually the lonely road towards unconditional love, because loneliness is one of the things that are quite evident nowadays for many people. So I feel that this thing is definitely something to understand better, and to understand that life is also able to live happily if you're by yourself, and how to deal with yourself, and to find joy in life without needing other people around you constantly or other stimuli. So that's the kind of thing.
What is the purpose of the human experience?
So for me, the purpose of the human experience is that it's about finding the unconditional love besides your parents, which can be sometimes conditional love. So it's about understanding yourself better, learning about your own experience, having a growing curve in life, understanding your life in a sense that you can relate to other people better, and also finding acceptance to other people by accepting yourself and accepting other people, and also loving other people and yourself. This is easily said than done. It's a road. So I would say that's why it's called, for me, the lonely road towards unconditional love, because that's the part that I'm kind of trying to develop better. And that's, for me, that's the purpose of the human experience.
What are some of the greatest misconceptions about happiness, in your opinion?
Well, that happiness happens regardless of anything else, that there is like a guarantee of happiness, and that there's a guarantee of positive outcome. That's kind of the thing that you want to think, but it's not always the case. So it's better to not have too high expectations all the time. And sometimes it's also about acceptance and less about trying to push for happiness in an unnatural way. So accepting is more a way of being aware of the things that are already there. Like if you're in a healthy situation, then that's already a reason to be happy. If you can use your mind clearly, that's also a reason to be happy. So there are like basic things like as a human that you can be happy for or grateful for even. Yeah, that you have to find happiness outside yourself, or happiness, constantly chasing happiness is also, I think, a misconception. So I feel that there is a balance between different emotions, and not all emotions are bad or evil or wrong to experience, even if they can be hurtful sometimes. It's not always to be avoided.
What do you love most about being in a human body?
That I can experience physical sensations that are pleasurable. And yeah, that's about it, actually. That I can experience things that I wouldn't be able to experience if I wouldn't have a human body, like physical touch or food or sexuality also. And yeah, those things are only able to experience in a human body, actually.
What is healing to you?
So healing for me is like a broad concept of all kinds of theories that fall under alternative medicine, but also under treatments, under self-healing, like that you have the ability to recover by yourself at some point. Healing can be positive thinking. Healing can also be a different kind of way of looking at healing by itself. Sometimes it's also acceptance instead of just fighting against something. So healing is a broad term of recovery, I would say.
What is the meaning of freedom to you? What is to be free?
The meaning of freedom to me is that I would say it's also a broad term, because freedom, for me, ultimate freedom is freedom of mind, spirit, body, everything and all, and still feel the ecstasy of joy and happiness. So without boundaries. But this is like kind of this the idea of total liberation or release. The closest experience is probably that you would say, like after a hard way of exercise, or even after a sexual encounter, you can actually experience a way of release and freedom. I would say that freedom is also in the mind. Freedom has when you can express your own opinion, that's also freedom. But thinking about different things that you want to think about without being censored or without being pushed to think in a certain direction. Freedom of drawing, freedom of expressing emotions, freedom. Yeah, it's a broad term of all kinds of ways of how you can express yourself as a human being. Also freedom to follow your own path in life, freedom to follow your own studies, your own job, freedom of not having to struggle too much for being paid. So freedom is has a lot to do with all kinds of facets in life that are worth to strive for.
At this time, what is the world's greatest need? And also, do you have a vision for a new reality?
I think the world's greatest need for now is that people all over the world have access to good education and basic needs that need to be met. Those things are, I think, the most important things, but also long-term facility to create your own, or together to create your own facilities. And that's not always possible yet in all places of the world. And education is also really a big important point, because I feel that lack of education makes people numb, and also makes people think that they don't have a choice, they don't have a free will, they don't understand life, they don't understand their goals, they don't understand their missions, they have no idea of what to do with themselves, they get into trouble without reasons. And these things can be prevented by good education and understanding that even if you don't call it education, but you can still educate people. That means that you tell someone something and they can understand what you're talking about, and they can understand what the point is of it. So they can relate to it and they can practice it in their own life. It has to be practical. Then it matters to them, and then they can also use it. So it's not about education, just mathematics or language skills, which are also probably important, but it's also about life skills and life lessons and understanding life better at a younger age, to make sense out of life in an early stage, so you can direct your life better. So what I would say as a vision for a new reality would be that the younger generation has the facility and the possibility to follow courses that are not given yet, like spiritual courses or meditation, yoga practices, or even some kind of part of occultism if they're interested in that kind of thing, but also maybe politics or some kind of things that are making them more aware at a younger age, because if it's too late, then I think that the people are not really going to grasp the meaning and the point of it. So I think at a younger age it's better to learn things and understand life better.
What is your understanding and idea of love?
So love is also a broad term of acceptance, respect, and the capacity to care for someone. It's something else than sexuality, but it can go together with sexuality. I would say that love is also part of how you can care for someone, even if that person is not in your direct environment. So caring from a distance, which is nowadays a bit more popular because of people traveling all over the world. So you can have a love relationship or loving connections, even if people are not directly there. Love can also be for someone that has passed away, even a really strong love in that sense, because it also goes together with a certain kind of admiration, I think. Yeah, it's also about the acceptance of the other person and yourself and being accepted.
What is to be spiritual, and what is spirituality?
So, to me, spiritual means that someone has a deep understanding of life together with wisdom, and understanding that there's not only the positive but also the negative, but it depends how you look at it. So this is dual thinking, actually, but you can also see that there is always something to learn about the situation, and that you can also grow out of a certain situation, and that some kind of things may seem negative in the beginning, but actually seem to be a blessing later on. So it's also something that's, it's kind of a way of thinking. I think that spiritual is also... it's not the same as a religion, I would say, because a religion is different. It's kind of a rituals practices. There are spiritual practices, but they are meant to engage into spiritual thinking and to get better at contemplation and to improve meditation skills. But these things are actually meant to improve your quality of life and quality of relationships. So it's not a goal by itself, I would say. So spirituality and spiritual meaning is actually a part of giving a meaning to your life, instead of just doing the practices without actual...
How do you define success? What is to be successful to you?
Success for me means that all people and all parties are happy with the results, and that no one is left out. So it's not just about your own gains, but it's also about the gain of multiple people that are involved, and that there is also a growth that is continuous and that still goes further. Even if a standard goal is reached, it means that there is still possibility to grow even further. So successful doesn't mean that you reach the end goal, but that you mostly stay striving and that you are still achieving something. And every time you can set a new goal also, and you have the capacity and the ability to make that happen for yourself and for other people.
So, why did you choose to do what you do?
Well, at a young age, I was already interested in spirituality and psychology, and part of it is also occultism. I also noticed that I had problems with communicating and relating to people at a young age. I couldn't understand certain things, and I was way more sensitive than other children and other people around me. So I found out later on that I had to find different ways of communicating and expressing myself, which made me more artistic, and also made me become a different kind of person to communicate with. And there's a different reason how I became to do what I'm doing is also to help other people with similar issues, or with being totally introvert, or having difficulties communicating certain things, or having problems with being too much inside themselves. So I think that's also a common thing because of the individualistic society, and I think that's also the reason why it's important that there's something to be done about being too much in the mind and being too much by yourself or in your own head, and understanding that there's all kinds of different way of expression. And that's how I became to do what I'm doing. So it's part of it is hobby, and also part of it is it has grown over time because of the need of expression and communication.
How did you become a writer?
So I became a writer at a younger age already. It happened during my teenager years that I started to write blogs and articles for myself, and I delved deeper into different kind of articles and to read about different subjects and understanding and trying to contemplate over them. It was actually more like a certain kind of journaling. So I combined knowledge, and then at the end I also tried to reflect on it back then. And that's how I started writing, and the journaling became more and more intensive and more meaningful to me. And I couldn't talk about a lot of things, but I could write it down, and I could at some point draw about certain things, and I could use my artistic different feelings to express it in a different way, like music, dance, or singing. So yeah, I was in a different way inspired to start writing, and that's how I became a writer.
What was the inspiration, intention, and purpose of writing your book?
So the interesting thing actually happened that I found out during writing my book and afterwards is that I actually feel that every person should have the possibility and ability to write a book instead of just reading it, or not even reading, but in general not doing anything with books. I feel like it doesn't have to be a long story or a novel or that kind of thing, but it has to be something that carries a message about your life, because I feel that everyone has something to share, even if it's short and strong message. It can still be something that is worth reading, and it can be in a book form. So I think even if it's under 100 pages or less, it still can be worthwhile to read, and especially during this time of digital age, I feel that smaller books are even more appealing for some people, and that if there's attention given to the artistic sense of the book, so the colors, the layout, and the font or the letter type, that kind of thing, if that plays a role while making the book, it also appeals to readers in a different sense besides the message. So it gives multiple messages actually. Like subconsciously, you like the book because it's the same as the book is written in the same way as the expression of the book in total. So I feel that. If you make art out of book writing, then it's worth it for everyone to engage in it.
Talk to me for a moment about the services you offer.
So the services that I offer at the moment are holistic counseling and therapy and body work. So these services are actually all together because I feel that body, mind, and spirit are connected. And I feel that even if someone is having a problem in their way of thinking, it can also have an effect on their body. And even if people have an effect or problem with their physical body or state, then it can also have an effect on their mental issues. So I feel that these two are definitely related, and that's why I offer them together. And that's how I do it at the moment. The holistic counseling I actually do also on different locations and online, and also I can do it while being outside or inside. It depends really what people prefer, because I'm kind of flexible in that. I feel it's not meant to be sitting in a clinical office to do a counseling session, but it's actually more fluid and more in a flow. So I'm really open to understanding someone's lifestyle and willing to accommodate to different counseling styles.
Where can we find more information about you, your work, products, services, and future projects?
So you can find more information about me on illuminavida.com. That's my website about all the services that I offer and the future projects and products that I'm making. It's a big website for business, but I also felt that I have a lot of things to share and to connect to. And the meaning of Illumina Vida is a deeper meaning, which I explain also on my website if you're interested to read about it. And then you can contact me through the website also and find more information about the current services.
What are 3 things about life you know for sure as of this moment?
One thing I know for sure is that life is temporary and that dying is not something that you can prevent so far yet. The other thing is that there's multiple races, and I feel that that's also part of the whole world, and to understand that religions are not meant to discriminate, but more to bind different races. And I think that message is really not out there yet so much. So that's why I'm more into spirituality, because I feel that spirituality is more about connecting to different races, different cultures, different ethnicities, different spiritual teachings, and making them bigger because of the combinations. And the other thing is that I feel that because of life on Earth is possible, I feel that the lucky planet is Earth also in some way, because it's still difficult to understand how life in some other reality would be like, and that still it's interesting to understand that life on Earth is something, I guess, lucky in some way.
Thank you so much for your presence, for sharing your wisdom and doing what you do.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Shehnaaz and her work, please visit illuminavida.ca.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.